crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawlers April 23, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs April 11 to April 17, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT, Rose and Bruno Mars. El Mayor de los Ranas, Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed, ATLXS. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 11 to Thursday, April 17, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather. Billie Eilish. Ordinary, Alex Warren. APT, Rose, Bruno Mars. Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 21, 2025. Minecraft. Hades. NBA 2K25. Overcooked. 2. Steam's Hottest Games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1. Marvel Rivals. PUBG, Battlegrounds. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA releases guidance on credential risks associated with potential legacy Oracle cloud compromise. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Microsoft's BitNet B1.58-2B4T, BitNet B1.58-2B4T, the first open-source, native 1-bit large language model, LLM, at the 2 billion parameter scale, developed by Microsoft Research. Trained on a corpus of 4 trillion tokens, this model demonstrates that native 1-bit LLMs can achieve performance comparable to leading open-weight, full-precision models of similar size, while offering substantial advantages in computational efficiency, memory, energy, latency. China rolls out plan to promote its own payment system as U.S. trade war simmers. Musk says Tesla's Optimus humanoid robots affected by China's export curbs on rare earths. China's CATL claims to beat BYD's EV battery record with longer range on a 5-minute charge. Business of Fashion reports that Chanel signs Kendrick Lamar as brand ambassador. Fusion and Fire, Anna Zhangyilan becomes first Chinese winner of MasterChef Italia with bold cultural blend. BBC announces new documentary, P. Diddy, The Rise and Fall for BBC Three and iPlayer. Putin proposes direct peace talks with Ukraine, says he is open to more ceasefires, and Vladimir Putin offers to halt Ukraine invasion along current front line. Zelensky rules out recognizing Crimea as Russian, warns against playing into Putin's game. Crimean Tatar Mejlis rejects any international recognition of Crimea as Russian, chairman says, and EU diplomacy chief warns US against recognizing Crimea as Russian territory. Vance issues Ukraine ultimatum after Rubio snubs key London meeting. Bloomberg issues travel warning to staff. Mexico bans foreign propaganda after US anti-migrant ad, and Mexico asks TV stations to pull discriminatory US anti-immigration ad. NPR reports as the White House is looking to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary, and White House responds to NPR report on search for Hegseth replacement. Fake news. Axios reports that Anthropic warns fully AI employees are a year away. At trial, Instagram co-founder says Meta denied his company resources. OpenAI would buy Google's Chrome browser, ChatGPT chief says, as Justice Department asks judge to thaw Google's search monopoly by forcing Chrome sale. SK Telecom reports hacking incident involving partial leak of user USIM data. Google Chrome will now continue to use third-party cookies. Washington Post reports that, in the U.S., sensitive documents, including White House floor plans, improperly shared with thousands. LG Electronics to exit EV charger business amid global demand slowdown. Xiaomi delays release of first SUV after fatal road accident. Chinese EV makers take spotlight as Tesla skips Shanghai Auto Show for third time. Malaysia eyes Africa for trade expansion as Trump's tariffs loom. White House is close on Japan, India tariff agreements, but expect them to be light on specifics. Chinese freight ship traffic to busiest U.S. ports, Los Angeles, Long Beach, sees steep drop. WD launches HDD recycling process that reclaims rare earth elements, cuts out China. Walmart is ditching zip codes in favor of honeycomb-style maps as it looks to speed up deliveries. Korea to build biggest ever offshore wind power cluster by 2033, Ministry. More than 100 public software companies are getting squeezed by AI, a new study finds. In the U.S., draft executive order outlines plan to integrate AI into K-12 schools. Columbia student kicked out for creating AI to cheat, raises millions to turn it into a startup. Starmer does not believe trans women are women, number 10 says, and trans women should use male toilets, Equalities Minister says. Wild chimpanzees share fermented fruits. California is about to run out of license plate numbers. Boeing to sell parts of aviation software unit to Thoma Bravo for $10.5 billion. China adds nearly 2 million private firms in first quarter as calls for support rise. China invites European countries to form united front against Trump tariffs. Malaysia's plan to teach Thai, Khmer, and Vietnamese in schools sparks parental backlash. 2 days ago, Minister Fedlina, Malaysia to teach Thai, Khmer, and Vietnamese as elective languages in schools to boost ASEAN ties. 3 prosecutors in corruption case against NYC Mayor Eric Adams resign, and Trump administration extends deadline for NYC to end congestion pricing, as feds threaten NYC highway money if MTA doesn't shut down congestion pricing. 60 Minutes chief resigns in emotional meeting, the company is done with me. Semaphore reports that Paramount's owner Sherry Redstone kept tabs on 60 Minutes segments on Trump. Day or 2 per week, Musk promises decreased time at Doge as Tesla profits plummet. IMF slashes GDP growth estimates for China, US and world as trade tensions rise. Counterpoint announced that global PC shipments up 6.7% YoY in Q1 2025 amid US tariff anticipation. Intel to announce plans this week to cut over 20% of staff. Apple drops available now from Apple Intelligence page. Reuters report that Huawei readies new AI chip for mass shipment as China seeks Nvidia alternatives, sources say. Nvidia supplier SK Hynix unseats Samsung as world's drum chip leader on AI boost. Bloomberg reports that Google paid Samsung enormous sums for Gemini AI app installs. Films made with AI can win Oscars, Academy says. Washington Post teams up with OpenAI to enhance news access via ChatGPT. China and Egypt unleash historic joint air drills, shaking up Middle East strategic balance, and China's KJ-500 radar aircraft overseas for first time in joint drill with Egypt. 7,000-mile range U.S. spy drone gets deadly laser weapon to melt missiles mid-air. Stay away from Chinese satellite services, U.S. advises allies in leaked memo. Vance and Modi meet in New Delhi to discuss trade deal and avoid U.S. tariffs. Financial Times reports that India under tariff pressure to give Amazon and Walmart's Flipkart full market access. We have been able to meet some needs of Saudi Arabian armed forces. PM Modi pitches for enhanced defense engagement with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman talks of $100 billion investment, shares India's concerns on terrorism, as India's Modi to meet Saudi Crown Prince to talk trade, oil. India to put 12% temporary tariff on steel to curb cheap China imports, source says. ARK Invest funds become first U.S. ETFs to add exposure to Solana through 3iQ's staking ETF. Mantra to burn $160 million OM tokens, 50% from Dow's founder, following 90% price crash. XRP Ledger Foundation discloses serious vulnerability in recently updated version of XRPL JavaScript library. In the U.S., student loans in default to be referred to debt collection, Education Department says. Zuckerberg-funded school for low-income families in Silicon Valley to shut down. LA Mayor Karen Bass budget calls for over 1,600 city workers to be laid off. SEC Chair Atkins, top priority is to have firm foundation for digital assets. Crypto casino takings top $80 billion as gamblers bypass blocks. Circle plans stablecoin-powered cross-border payment network, as crypto firms chase bank charters as Circle launches stablecoin orchestration layer. Washington Post reports that Trump's inner circle ways push for higher taxes on millionaires. In the U.S., former Treasury Secretary Summers says Trump attack on IRS risks $1 trillion revenue hit. Wall Street Journal comments as Trump is laying the groundwork to blame Powell for any downturn. Recently, Trump says he has no intention of firing Fed boss. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr hunt Asian Champions League glory as Saudi Arabia hosts finals. Andre Agassi to play at the US Open Pickleball Championships. Warner Brothers Discovery starts Max password sharing crackdown. In the US, Treasury targets Iranian liquefied petroleum gas magnate with sanctions. Members of UK's largest Jewish body condemn Israel's offensive in Gaza. Israel ends mention of humanitarian zones as Gaza war grinds on. Trump hosts corporate-sponsored Easter egg roll, "We're bringing religion back," and in the US, Veterans Affairs Agency orders staff to report each other for anti-Christian bias. Mississippi governor declares April 2025 as Confederate Heritage Month. Trump backs $5,000 baby bonus for new moms in bid to reverse declining birth rate. Sounds like a good idea. Mother Jones comment says, Trump may soon offer a motherhood medal, an idea popularized in Nazi Germany. In the US, Rubio unveils a massive overhaul of the State Department that would cut staff and bureaus, as state to slash 15% of domestic staff, eliminate 132 offices. Over 150 college presidents sign letter rebuking Trump administration overreach. In the US, RFK Jr.'s autism study to amass medical records of many Americans, as RFK Jr. set to launch disease registry tracking autistic people. RFK Jr. unveils plan to phase out 8 artificial food dyes in the US. Death rate from cancer has steadily fallen in the US, report shows. Pew announces that, in the US 48% of teens say social media harms people their age, up from 32% in 2022. Police rescue 33 West Africans from a human trafficking scam in Ivory Coast. Haiti nearing point of no return amid gang violence, UN representative warns. UN says Asian scam call center epidemic expanding globally amid political heat. US sets up to 3,521% tariff on import of Southeast Asian solar panels, and reportedly China's solar panel makers explore options as Washington sets tariffs for Southeast Asia. Roche to invest $50 billion in US to avoid Trump tariffs, create 12,000 jobs. US Treasury chief says that tariff war with China is unsustainable and he expects it to ease, as Besson says he expects de-escalation in US-China tariff fight in the very near future. Trump says tariff on China will come down substantially from 145%. China sends back new Boeing jet made more expensive by tariffs.
Crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawlers April 21, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs April 11 to April 17, 2025. Die with a Smile. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
APT, Rosé y Bruno Mars. El mayor de los ranas, Víctor Valverde y J.R. Torres.
Passo Bem Solto, Slovid, Atos. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 11th to Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Die with a Smile Lady Gaga Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather. Billie Eilish. Ordinary. Alex Warren.
APT, Rosé, Bruno Mars.
Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 21st, 2025. Minecraft. Hades.
NBA2K25.
Overcooked. 2. Steam's hottest games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1. Marvel Rivals. PUBG Battlegrounds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA releases guidance on credential risks associated with potential legacy Oracle Cloud compromise. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Microsoft's BitNet B1.58-2B4T, BitNet B1.582B4T, the first open-source, native 1-bit large language model, LLM, at the 2 billion parameter scale, developed by Microsoft Research. Trained on a corpus of 4 trillion tokens, this model demonstrates that native 1-bit LLMs can achieve performance comparable to leading open-weight, full-precision models of similar size, while offering substantial advantages in computational efficiency, memory, energy latency. Major rice producers have world's worst heavy metal pollution. Chinese scientists warn, and climate change will make rice toxic, say researchers. Toothpaste widely contaminated with lead and other metals, U.S. research finds. Project to suck carbon out of sea begins in UK. China establishes world's first 3-satellite constellation in the Earth-Moon region of space. Chinese robots ran against humans in the world's first humanoid half-marathon. They lost by a mile. China develops powerful non-nuclear hydrogen explosive with military potential for precision thermal strikes. Ukraine bans China's firms for helping Russia make missiles. China denies Zelensky's charge that it provides Russia with weapons. 1 day ago, China is supplying weapons to Russia, Zelensky says. Trump administration ready to recognize Russian control of Crimea as part of framework to end Ukraine war. Source says, as U.S. offers to ease sanctions on Russia in Ukraine peace proposal. Trump White House replaces COVID website with treatise on lab leak theory. AOC instructs staff to sideline all new transgender discrimination cases, employees say. Trump officials blame mistake for setting off confrontation with Harvard, as Wall Street Journal reports that Trump administration irate at Harvard plans to pull additional $1 billion in funding. Sam Altman admits that saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is wasting millions of dollars in computing power, and OpenAI's new reasoning AI models hallucinate more. 3 days ago, OpenAI unveils technology that can reason with images. Gen AI investment can spur co-working potential in financial industry, Moody's says. Wikipedia is giving AI developers its data to fend off bot scrapers. Anti-spying phone pouches offered to EU lawmakers for trip to Hungary. Texas House approves creation of new state cybersecurity command at UTSA. Fishers abuse Google OAuth to spoof Google in DKIM replay attack. DHL to suspend global shipments of over $800 to U.S. consumers. Ford halts shipments of vehicles to China amid tariffs. SCMP comments as, U.S. tariff threats open door to a Make in India moment. 1 month ago, Reuters reported as, India eyes tariff cut on more than half of U.S. imports to shield its exports, sources say. Massive 366% chip shipment surge to Malaysia amid increased NVIDIA AI GPU smuggling curbs, ahead of looming sectoral tariffs. U.S. chipmakers fear they are ceding China's AI market to Huawei. Huawei introduces the Ascend 920 AI chip to fill the void left by NVIDIA's H20. China to host Indonesia for top-level diplomacy. Defense talks and pivot to Southeast Asia. Resist protectionism. China Xi tells Cambodia as Phnom Penh seeks loans. As China's leader ends Southeast Asia tour touting Beijing's reliability versus U.S. tariff threats. China's PLA invited to Vietnam military parade, as both sides pledge closer defense ties. Vietnam PM hails unique bond with U.S. days after hosting Xi. Israeli researchers use gene editing to eliminate 50% of head, neck tumors in mice. New water microcleaners self-disperse, capture microplastics and float up for removal. Menstrual cycles don't affect women's cognitive abilities, study finds. Tesla Cybertruck is in crisis. New discounts and throttling down production. Subaru is bringing back physical knobs and buttons in its cars. In the U.S., Sam's Club axes self-checkouts nationwide. Add Scan and Go. As Sam's Club's 600 location remodel will eliminate cashiers. Nepal's parliamentary subpanel finds billions of rupees embezzled during construction of China-funded Pokhara International Airport. Bybit CEO says nearly 28% of $1.4 billion hacked crypto gone dark. Move to P2P and OTC. Oregon targets Coinbase after SEC drops its federal lawsuit. Iran seeks guarantees U.S. won't leave nuclear pact again. U.S. anti-ship missiles deployed to Philippine Islands south of Taiwan for first time. China vows to hit back at U.S. new discriminatory port fees. 2 days ago, United States eases port fees on China-built ships after industry backlash. Carbonates identified by the Curiosity rover indicate a carbon cycle operated on ancient Mars, as Curiosity rover finds large carbon deposits on Mars. Scientists stumble across rare evidence that Earth is peeling underneath the Sierra Nevada. Skin injury may bring on food allergies, as skin damage signals mediate allergic sensitization to spatially unlinked antigen. Indian students rethink U.S. plans. Education loan firms panic as inquiries drop by 50%. In the U.S., over 9 million student loan borrowers past due after bills restarted, Fed estimates. Teen Vogue comments as FSU shooter shows radicalized white men are the threats to college campuses. not student protesters. 3 days ago it has been reported as in Florida state shooting. 2 dead, sheriff's deputy's son in custody. Pakistani authorities arrest over 170 for anti-US, anti-Israel attacks on KFC stores. Sex tourists flock to Japan's red light area, lured by weekend social media videos. Colombia declares health emergency after dozens die of yellow fever. China sanctions U.S. Congress members, officials and others who behaved badly on Hong Kong. Boeing begins flying back planes refused by Chinese airlines, and China halted orders for U.S. soybeans and corn before tariff escalation. China vows retaliation against countries that follow U.S. calls to isolate Beijing. It has been commented as, in the U.S., Christmas is in the crosshairs as toy industry faces brunt of China tariffs. Wall Street Journal reports that EU delayed punishing Apple, Meta just before trade talks started. Carney pledges tax cuts, defense spending in Canada election platform. El Salvador's president offers Maduro U.S. deported Venezuelans for prisoner swap. Border crossings grind to halt as Trump's tough policies take hold. New York Times comments as the Trump administration is disappearing people like the Soviet Union. Washington Post comments as Trump claims unfettered presidential power on immigration. Wired reports that DOJ is building a master database to surveil and track immigrants. Trump administration orders Gaza-linked social media vetting for visa applicants. Hegseth said to have shared attack details in Second Signal chat. Former Pentagon official warns department's dysfunction could topple Hegseth, and 3 Hegseth aides ousted in leak investigation decry baseless attacks. Rubio denies that Trump will politicize the Foreign Service and slash embassies. Recently, Trump reportedly drafted an executive order for a disciplined reorganization of the State Department that would shut down embassies and cut climate change and refugee offices. The Guardian comments as RFK's statements prove autistic people and their families everywhere should fear Trump and his allies. 5 days ago, Kennedy calls autism preventable, drawing ire from researchers. Ted Sarandos responds to James Cameron's vision of AI making movies cheaper. There's an even bigger opportunity to make movies 10% better. Netflix sees potential for video podcasts, more creator content on platform. Number of UK consumers streaming sports illegally has gone through the roof, police say. Pope Francis has died, Vatican says in video statement, and Syria postpones games after Pope Francis dies aged 88. Doge visits National Gallery of Art to discuss museum's legal status. Trump is replacing the acting IRS commissioner, part of a dispute between Treasury and Elon Musk. California announces plans to relax protections for wolves as population grows. Billionaire collector Thomas Kaplan to sell Rembrandt lion drawing to raise funds for wildlife conservation. Seagate claims hard drives are more environmentally friendly than SSDs.
Crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with NewsSource Scrawlers April 18, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs April 4 to April 10, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT, Rose and Bruno Mars. El Mayor de los Ranas, Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. AAJ Key Rat, Madhu Banti Bagchi, Divya Kumar and Sachin. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 4 to Thursday, April 10, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather. Billie Eilish. Ordinary, Alex Warren. APT, Rose, Bruno Mars. Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 14, 2025. Minecraft. Hades. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Stardew Valley. Steam's hottest games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1. REPO and ZOI. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. Fortinet releases advisory on new post-exploitation technique for known vulnerabilities. Ivanti releases security updates for Connect Secure, Policy Secure and ZTA Gateways vulnerability, CVE 2025-22457. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Moon Shotai's Kimi VLA3B thinking, an efficient open-source mixture of experts, Vision Language Model, VLM, that offers advanced multimodal reasoning, long context understanding, and strong agent capabilities, all while activating only 2.8B parameters in its language decoder. It effectively competes with cutting-edge efficient VLMs such as GPT-4o Mini, Qwen 2.5 VL7B, and Gemma 3-12B IT, while surpassing GPT-4o in several specialized domains. Hamas ready to release all remaining hostages for end to war, Group's Gaza chief says. Wall Street Journal reports that a depleted Hamas is so low on cash that it can't pay its fighters. Portrait of Palestinian boy who lost both arms is World Press Photo of the Year for 2025. Tech War, Nvidia CEO Huang says China a key market on Beijing visit as US bans AI chips. AMD expects $800 million charge due to US license requirement for AI chips. U.S. House panel probes whether DeepSeek used restricted NVIDIA chips. Huawei unveils upgraded AI-powered smart eyewear to compete in crowded market. Microsoft Research announces BitNet B1, 1-bit LLM trained on a corpus of 4 trillion tokens which can achieve performance comparable to leading open-weight, full-precision models, and doesn't require GPUs to run. Meta blocks Apple Intelligence on Facebook and its other iOS apps. Reportedly, Meta asked Amazon, Microsoft to help fund Llama. Tencent offers 28,000 internships as China grapples with youth unemployment. In India, tariff overhang, Iggy companies slash hiring mandates, demand drops by 1/5 in Q4 of FY25. In the US, South Dakota leaders back Rasner Media's TikTok deal, urge Trump administration support. Trump says minerals deal with Ukraine to be signed in 1 week. Russia lifts ban on Taliban amid growing ties with the group. US will abandon Ukraine peace push if no progress within a matter of days, Rubio says. Axios comments as, Putin tests Trump's patience by slow-walking ceasefire talks. US judge finds Google holds illegal online ad tech monopolies. Musk's Starlink snaps up market share in Nigeria amid African push. China to crack down on EV self-driving technology, autonomous driving claims, as China bans smart and autonomous driving terms from vehicle ads. South Korea's new visa to resolve labor shortage faces backlash. Japan's inflation quickens as rice prices gain most in 50 years. Malaysia's Anwar meets Myanmar junta leader in week of tricky diplomacy. China's container bookings to plunge up to 60% as U.S. tariffs wipe out trade, report. Temu slashes U.S. ad spending, plummets in App Store rankings after Trump-China tariffs. Hong Kong banks to see biggest rise in bad loans in Asia-Pacific due to U.S. tariffs, Fitch. AI-generated music accounts for 18% of all tracks uploaded to Deezer. Google used AI to suspend over 39M ad accounts suspected of fraud. In the U.S., it has been commented as bot students continue to flood in, community colleges struggle to respond. Immigrant founders are the norm in key U.S. AI firms, study. In the U.S., DHS threatens to revoke Harvard's eligibility to host international students unless it turns over disciplinary records. Global financial institutions make progress in gender balance amid anti-DEI steps, report. Trump tariffs to not growth but won't cause global recession, says IMF, and Fed Chair Powell sounds alarm on tariffs, sending stocks lower. Trump lashes out at Fed Chair for not cutting rates. Joe Rogan, Dave Portnoy among Trump backers now questioning his tariff policies. Americans' dislike for China softens, Pew survey shows. Sunscreen, clothes and caves may have helped Homo sapiens survive 41,000 years ago. Webb discovers methane, carbon dioxide in atmosphere of K2-18b. Harvard's Robo-Bee achieves stable landing technique for crop pollination. Fake blood vessels mean lab-grown chicken can now be nugget-sized. 3 U.S. tick species may cause a mysterious red meat allergy. Massive circular tomb filled with battle-scarred people unearthed in Peru. In the U.S., FDA making plans to end its routine food safety inspections, sources say. WHO members agree first global pandemic treaty. Reuters reports that U.S. Consumer Safety Agency to stop collecting swaths of data after CDC cuts. In the U.S., Treasury targets International Bank of Yemen for support to the Houthis with a sanction. U.S. says Chinese satellite firm is supporting Houthi attacks on U.S. interests, and U.S. issues new sanctions targeting Chinese importers of Iranian oil. Trump administration announces fees on Chinese ships docking at U.S. ports, and trade war fallout. Cancellations of Chinese freight ships begin as bookings plummet. Discord is verifying some users' age with ID and facial scans, and in the US, NJ sues messaging app Discord for alleged youth endangerment. TikTok is getting its own version of community notes. Liz Truss to launch her own uncensorable social media platform. Vladimir Putin lauds Elon Musk as rare pioneer. Musk linked SpaceX as frontrunner for Trump's $10 billion Golden Dome shield as Pentagon mulls subscription-based tech. Q-Control unveils jam-proof quantum tech that's 50 times more accurate than GPS. Macron announces creation of joint commission to examine Haiti's independence debt to France. Turkey detains 525 suspects in country's biggest anti-drugs operation, minister says. Reportedly, AI personas may be undercover police, engaging with suspects online through social media and text. It has been commented as, Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets amid fighting oligarchy tour. New York Post comments as, Joe Biden having trouble booking gigs with $300,000 per speech asking price. George Clooney says there should have been a Democratic primary after Biden dropped out. Washington Post reports that Trump's D.C. U.S. attorney pick appeared on Russian state media over 150 times. Russia-linked Pravda network cited on Wikipedia, LLMs, and X. Ukraine has evidence of China supplying Russia with weapons, Zelensky says. Global payments to acquire WorldPay for $24.25 billion, divest Issuer Solutions Unit. ABB plans to spin off its robotics division as a separately listed company. OpenAI in talks to buy Windsurf for about $3 billion. Trump and Meloni talk up chances of U.S. trade deal with Europe. Trump says U.S. and China are in trade talks and is confident a deal will be reached soon, and Trump says 100% confident of U.S. trade deal with EU. Newsom announces lawsuit against Trump's tariffs as California stands to lose billions. Indonesia to propose $10 billion U.S. energy imports increase in tariff talks. Trump admin halts $5 billion New York offshore wind project mid-build. Trump signs memo barring undocumented immigrants from receiving Social Security benefits. Former Pentagon spokesman tied to online DEI purge was asked to resign, official says. CFPB to cut financial firm supervision, curb fintech focus, as nearly 90% of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau cut as Trump's government downsizing continues. Trump administration wants new headquarters for the Housing and Urban Development Department, and HUD building put up for sale as Trump looks to unload properties. U.S. State Department closing office aimed at countering foreign disinformation. Chrome extensions with 6 million installs have hidden tracking code. Wikipedia is giving AI developers its data to fend off bot scrapers. Hacking group Anonymous claims massive cyber attack on Russia, releases 10 terabytes leaked data. South Korean content overtakes UK in global Netflix viewership. Nickelodeon unveils Kid Cowboy animated YouTube series. Paramount Plus expands footprint in Japan through partnership with local streamer Lemino. U.S. digital ad spend climbed to $259 billion in 2024. In France, Ligue 1 faces financial crisis as talks between clubs and DAZN over TV deal break down. Fire Festival 2 is postponed, no new date set. Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy's Star Wars film officially titled Star Wars: Starfighter sets May 2027 theatrical release. Glenn Powell to co-write, star in Judd Apatow comedy about country western star. Star Wars Darth Maul animated series coming to Disney Plus next year, with Sam Witwer voicing villain. U.S. citizen held by ICE despite judge seeing birth certificate. U.S. immigrants, H-1B, green card holders must carry ID 24/7 or face jail. ICE just paid Palantir tens of millions for complete target analysis of known populations. In the U.S., prominent ultra-processed food researcher leaves NIH, alleges censorship. Nearly 300 apply as French university offers U.S. academics scientific asylum. Destroying endangered species habitat wouldn't count as harm under proposed Trump rule. China accuses U.S. of interfering in its Latin America ties. India trade deficit with China widens to record $99.2 billion amid dumping concerns. YouTube was pledged immunity from Australia's social media ban. Polish president backs push for access to French nuclear shield. Australian Prime Minister says he trusts Trump and Xi during debate with election rival. Ivory Coast opposition names Tidjane Thiam as the presidential candidate, as ex-banker Thiam drops French nationality in bid for Ivory Coast presidency. Trump rolls back regulations aimed at curbing arsenic and mercury pollution. About 15% of world's cropland polluted with toxic metals, say researchers. Japan makes it easier for hunters to shoot bears as attacks surge. Variety reports that Pacific Rim TV series from legendary Eric Heiserer lands at Amazon for development. Wendy's says it has a ton of respect for Katy Perry after posting "Can we send her back to space?" Fast food chain stops short of apologizing. Trump appoints Fox News host Mark Levin to Homeland Security Advisory Council.